Welcome back to today's Training Industry Learning Tech Showcase, AI in Training, sponsored by Bigtincan, CGS Immersive, Corporate Visions, Skooks, and the Regis Company. So I'm Liz Spate, Events Marketing Specialist here at Training Industry, and I'm thrilled to have you with us here today. Before we get started, though, I would like to quickly go over those few housekeeping items to help you interact with our speaker and get the most out of today's program. So feel free to use that chat window to interact with our speaker with any comments. As for questions, though, please submit those questions in the Q&A section of your toolbar below. We do have some people from our team to help address those questions throughout. However, we will have some dedicated time at the end, but do not hesitate to plug those questions throughout. And at the end of your time here with us, you will notice a short evaluation survey popped open in another tab in your browser. And we'd appreciate your thoughts on today's event. And all of our sessions are being recorded and archived on trainingindustry.com. And you will receive a follow-up email from us that will include the link to the on-demand program for you to share with your team. If this is your first Training Industry event, we would love to welcome you. We exist to make connections among learning and development professionals, and we offer tons of resources to support your role in L&D, like live events like today's showcase, as well as through articles on our website, our magazine, conferences, research report, membership, and our podcast. We would also love to hear about what you've learned from today's session on social media, so please follow us on your favorite platforms and let's continue the conversation. And without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce you to our third speaker of today. Justin Hill is the VP Global Sales and Strategy. And with that, Justin, take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Liz, and thanks to Training Industry for the opportunity today. Welcome, everybody. We're going to get right into it because we do have limited time. And let me start to open up our display, make sure everybody can see the screen okay. All right. So Liz, if you want to put up the poll we had here so that everybody can see it. I'm just a little bit curious in terms of who's using AI in their job-related responsibilities on a regular basis. Would love to get a number and just understand where it's fitting in, how many people are active with AI right now. So if you want to fill that out quickly, and then we'll get right into the content itself. All right. Okay, so I went to comedy to open this today, and you can see that this little cartoon really says a lot about where things have been here, especially in the last 12 to 18 months. It's the world of generative AI, large language model AI has exploded, and I hope you get a kick out of this cartoon because it works multiple ways, correct? And for those of you that are using AI in the simplest form, which is writing emails, taking notes, summarizing articles, things like that, you can certainly relate. Quick little story. You know, my mom, 78 years old, is so proud. She called me like a week ago and said, I used AI. So my aunt sends these, she's one of those crazy aunts, and she sends, or aunt, depending on how you say it, she sends these long, what's new in the family. She has like 7 kids, 7 cousins. What's new in the family emails, long articles. And they're like literally 7 pages of text. And my mom's got Gemini with her Gmail now, and she summarized it. And she's like, Justin, I used AI. I read Aunt Pam's letter in like 3 minutes instead of an hour and a half. And it was so perfect, right? So just it is there. Even our parents' parents are using it. It's part of every day. And I know this showcase today, you've heard a lot about AI. I'm going to talk to it a little bit more from the tech side. So we're actually going to see AI in action in a few different places through the Bigtincan platform. So as we do that, I just want to bump through a few slides. I want to get to tech as soon as possible. So bear with me here as we go. Just where AI has been, and as a product set, Bigtincan's been with it pretty much since the beginning in terms of the different things we've done in our platform. But we're on the up and up right now, and we're starting to see, we saw the conversational AI, all the bots on the websites that now exist. You're talking to your bank and Erica pops up if it's Bank of America. We see the generative AI, everybody's into that now, global adoption with Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT. But where we're going is a more agentic approach. And we'll talk about that in just a second, because that's where the game is going to change from a work responsibility standpoint. AI in business, looking at the landscape, right? And today we're going to focus heavily on learning, some sales enablement stuff, which is certainly a big part of learning, sales readiness and enablement, and conversational AI and content AI. But the big thing to recognize is it isn't just in the learning space. It isn't just in the readiness space. It's everywhere in business transformation right now. It's playing a tremendous role in simplifying jobs, making tasks easier, making people more efficient. So what is agentic AI? That's the new buzzword, right? Agentic AI. And when we talk about that, it's almost the specialization of a generative AI model. So if you think of Copilot, you think of Gemini, you think of ChatGPT, how do we get that to specialize in certain tasks, whether that's managing schedules, whether that's creating content, whether that's creating coaching and role play scenarios. And when we think of this, the one thing I want to put in out of everybody's mind during this webinar is to say, it's not going to replace people, but the people that embrace it are going to accelerate much faster. That's the big thing. Use this to your advantage. It can make your job a ton easier. For example, my Genie assistant, which we'll talk about in just a second, helps me every morning. It talks to me about, talk to my different systems. It tells me what our queue looks like from a product and engineering standpoint, tells me what my Zendesk support tickets are like across the company, maybe overnight, tells me the big tasks to do today, the big deals we have in the pipeline, where new hires are on their onboarding path, what that needs to happen next. And I get all that information to me in a matter of 5 minutes, whereas I used to have to go out, figure it all out. It would take me 2 hours. So I start my day in 5 to 10 minutes versus 2 hours now, and sort of setting the day for myself and understanding where things stand. And that comes from my Genie Agentic AI Assistant, which we're going to see in just a second. So agents that automate different work, and these are a couple that I'm going to show you right now when we get into product. One is conversational AI, being able to have a real-time practice back and forth. I know there was some role play early this morning. I'm going to show another example of that, just how easy it is to build a scenario and help coach somebody on that specific scenario. Content generation, generating training content, localizing and translating training content, adding avatars to training content to make it more impressive, more interactive. You're going to see some of that today as well. And then actual real life sales simulations, training simulations. So one thing that I hear a lot of, we're an AI tech company. And when we talk to prospective clients or current clients looking to make the jump from our core platform to some of our AI features, is we're going to move slow. We're stepping away. We want to move a little bit slower on this. We're not sure about AI. I think that's going to be common for quite a while. People are a little bit nervous, of course, about the security side of things. They're a little bit nervous about, impacting job and headcount, certainly, which it won't, I'm telling you right now. But just thinking about the idea that let's be a little bit laggard when it comes to adopting AI principles and AI tech. Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. There's going to be employees around you that work for you, that were above you, that are going to use it anyway, and they already are. That the path less traveled is sometimes the quickest path, and people are using outside AI technology, whether you like it or not. If you haven't adopted AI, people still may have that ChatGPT window open the entire day while they're working, use it as a summarized tool, use it to do research, etc. So it is going to be a part of everything. And it already is. So get on board. I certainly encourage that. So where do you start, right? That's a big question. Where do we start with this? What we've done is kind of looked at and worked with a few research firms to look at a model of where people are when it comes to adopting AI and making it part of their day-to-day. Regardless of your role, really, right? You're going to see me focus a little bit on sales methodology, mostly because our product is designed for readiness and coaching and training on the sales side of things, but that certainly still applies to any go-to-market employee, whether that be support, customer success, as well as internal folks, whether it be practicing management techniques, practicing coaching for a new hire, on a factory floor even, right? So it will apply everywhere. But when we look at level 1, not using it at all, level 2, a few things, IT in the way, but we're touching it a little bit. This is where most companies are right now. All right, we're buying it. We're not sure where we're going to use it yet. We need a strategy, but we're into it. We got it. And then you start to move to level 4 or 5. Everybody's going to be here within 2 years. No choice, right? It's going to be integrated AI, bringing in different pieces and workflows from other tech stack companies and vendors, and then getting to the point where you have that agentic AI assistant, something similar to what I'm going to show right now that can help you with all of your day-to-day tasks. An agent for creating content, an agent for setting up role plays and practice simulation, an agent for just simple queries or setting up an onboarding class, how to do that more efficiently in a quicker manner so that you don't have to deal with a lot of the logistics behind the scenes. That administrative work, that's where agents are going to play the biggest part, making your job easier, not taking your job away. So looking at our platform very quickly, and we're going to focus on a few different pieces of this. So these are where our agents play. And if we look at this set of AI tools that we offer, GenieAI is our Gemini, our co-pilot, so to speak, in our platform. But we're going to look at a couple specific things today in the platform. One is that Genie Assistant. We're going to use that Genie Assistant. We're going to go through a role play scenario where we build that real-time back and forth with a virtual coach and with an agent to allow someone to practice messaging, whether that's, like I said, an internal message from a manager to an employee, or that external message where someone's practicing before a sales at bat. And then we're also going to look at AuthoringAI, making it much easier than ever to create content, create captions, translate that content, make it interactive using avatars and video. So those are the three we're going to look at today. All right, I'm going to switch my screen real quick, so bear with me here as I stop sharing. If you want to throw any questions in the chat, now's a good time to just address one or two as they come up as I change screens.
Looking good so far. I think everybody's eager to see the tech.
Awesome. Let's move there. All right, let's get into our platform. This is a generic look at our platform. A few windows. Generic look at our platform. Generic company. But this is our home base. We're not going to get into the ins and outs of the platform. What I want to show is a couple of the key AI features today, right? Over our last 15 minutes or so. So the first thing I want to talk about is that Genie Assistant, someone that can help me with my day-to-day tasks, create, for example, a playbook for me, can go deep research and create an onboarding program for me. So to access the assistant anytime on our platform, you just click the little Genie button and up comes the assistant. So the good news is too, we can also help with prompting. Prompting is one of the scariest things for a lot of employees. How do I prompt the right way? What prompt is going to get me the best results? And what we can do is actually put in prompts ahead of time. So there's suggested prompts every time based on my role. I open up my Genie Assistant. We're going to do a playbook today. And what's great is the prompt is pre-populated. I can plug in my product name. And we'll say for our sales team. So I just fill in my prompt cues, and then I can get right to the search. So just asking it to create a playbook, and very quickly, the full draft comes up. Let Genie do its thing. Now, as it fills out this playbook, it's also going to fill out all the resources within my content library that it used to help generate the playbook. So from this, I can not only use this, but I can create my playbook right from here. So if I click on Create Story, this used to have to all be manual for our sales training team. Now I could add an image here, very easy to do, but the body of this playbook is completely filled out, as well as all the supporting customer testimonials and files around this, I can touch it up, publish, and we're good to go. That quickly. I used to have to write this by hand every time. I want to go back and show one more example. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to interact one more time and actually translate this playbook. Genie, could you please translate this playbook to Spanish?
He preparado la traducción al español del Excalibur Stakeholder Engagement Playbook para tu equipo de ventas.
So there's no language boundaries either. If I have a Spanish audience, I can create the same thing even though I don't speak Spanish. I can deliver and develop the same playbook, but in Spanish that quickly. And another advantage is you see this deep research button. So if you're doing a bigger project, say you're rewriting your entire onboarding plan, we have a training audience here. I've done a deep research already so that you can see what exactly the Genie Assistant can do from an onboarding plan standpoint. These do take a little bit longer to generate because they put together a full report. In this case, lays it out perfectly for me, the objectives, success metrics, what are my key KPIs, and what are my dashboard. And you see in this case, not training salespeople, but training customer success folks, as well as laid out onboarding phases. And then I get some graphics around product matrix, customer segmentation and use cases. And it even gives me a laid out implementation timeline. I didn't have to do anything manually. It builds it for me, sets it up, so then I can just populate content following that. Another thing that's possible within this piece of the platform is to do something like, Genie, could you create a podcast for the Excalibur playbook? Well, there we go.
I've drafted the podcast script for the Excalibur Stakeholder Engagement Playbook.
So if people learn better by listening, or you want to create podcasts to support your content, you can certainly do that as well. And you have an avatar-driven podcast. Play this back.
Hello, Aria, and welcome to the GenieAI podcast. Today, we're diving deep into stakeholder engagement strategies from the Excalibur playbook.
Thanks, John. I'm excited to explore how the TRS sales team can effectively engage stakeholders when selling the...
And it's that easy to create a pretty dynamic podcast that you can push out to an audience. I can download that file. I can also include it in my content library. So that's just a quick example of Genie Assistant. I want to move on to the next piece, which is going to be actually creating content. And I'm going to use a few slides that we saw earlier in doing that. So our content generation workshop or workbench is what you see here. You can bring in slides, PDF files, videos, mash them together to create modules. We're going to create a module very quickly today. And this is, I have a half an hour and we're going through creating content in about 5 minutes, it's pretty impressive. So I've loaded in my slides. My slide notes come in here. Once I load them in, and I can generate narration via my agentic AI assistant here. So if I go down and I select a language as well as who I want to narrate, by the way, I can also have video narration. You'll see an example of that in a second, but we have an avatar library that can actually talk to the content, make it much more interactive. And Ryan's actually on my team. So you can create your own avatar. So if you're an instructor and you want to create an avatar, you can have your avatar narrate whatever piece of content you'd like. I just want to go back and we're just going to generate audio right now. So we'll select turn off video and we'll select Charlie. We can listen to samples.
It's not just about the sound of my voice. It's also about my tone, pacing, and intonation.
So we'll generate audio there. And this, we used to have to, with our product, actually go in and record, have the ums and the ahs, touch it up, re-record every time. Not the case anymore. Charlie's taking care of this for me. My AI.
Artificial intelligence has evolved from a niche academic pursuit to a transformative force across industries.
What's also great is I could use my own voice. So you can clone voices. I have my voice in the system. So for this slide, I want to generate narration, but I'm going to use what we call a custom voice. And I can select myself. Now you all have heard me talk. I haven't narrated this slide yet. There's no audio on it, as you can see, just 5 seconds of dead time. And I want to generate with my voice. And now, hopefully, I'm going to cover my mouth. It's not me talking.
Today, AI is becoming fully integrated into the digital workplace and digital operations, where you see things like AI and video conferencing, security, content management, and more.
So once I've cloned my voice, I can use it to record training content that quickly. Just clone it, run with it, add your audio, and based on the script, I can also speak German. So I could go ahead and translate this. And I will tell you right now, I do not speak German, but as I want to re-record the narration, but I want to do so in German with my voice. Let's replace it. And now we have Justin speaking German.
Heute wird KI vollständig in den digitalen Arbeitsplatz und der digitalen Abläufe integriert, wo man Dinge wie KI und Videokonferenzen, Sicherheit.
That's how quick translation, recording, audio generation for your modules. And the last slide here, I've pre-recorded with an avatar. If I play this back.
Agentic is the new buzzword in the AI industry, but what does it actually mean and how does it compare to
All right, so when we build this training, the way that our platform works is you create a URL and you create a training module. So let's look at what that looks like.
Agentic is
Artificial intelligence has evolved from a niche academic pursuit to a transformative.
Heute wird KI vollständig in den digitalen Arbeitsplatz und
Agentic is the new buzzword in the AI industry, but what does it actually mean and how does it compare to digital?
AI can also generate captions for me, as you see here on the bottom. All right, I want to move to the last piece today here in the last few minutes, and then we'll open it up to some Q&A. And that's creating a role play scenario. I have one pre-built, just the basics. And now I can populate the scenario of what I want that person to interact with and interact about. So when I build this scenario, I have to fill out the whole scene, the role play partner, give it a name, give it a persona. But what's great now is I can use my agent to help me populate this. Genie, can you please create a role play scenario of a account executive for TRS selling Excalibur to a CTO?
I've drafted a structured role-play scenario for a TRS account executive selling Excalibur to a CTO. You can use this for voice-based practice sessions.
Also gives me supporting materials. And when I click on use this scenario, all this work I used to have to do manually will populate this scenario. So everything is all completed for me for this role play scenario. The next piece you see here is feedback and grading. We have some default levels of grading role play AI, but we can also generate a very customized scoring and feedback system and scoring rubric using again, our role play agent. Once this is drafted out, no more manual work for me. I can just go ahead and click on use the scoring. When it populates, I'll do that. And then I'll spend 1 minute on just going into the actual scenario and what that looks like. So I click apply scoring criteria. All that changes to a very customized scoring rubric based on this particular activity. So let's go ahead and save our activity. And I don't have it in here yet, but we'll go back to, where's my Learning Tech Showcase? Here it is. So now we go into the scenario that we just built and we can craft a new response. So this is the actual engagement. Here's the scenario we've built, our scoring, all done for me. If we start the role play. Good morning, Sam. Great to talk to you today. Thank you for taking the time. I hope all is well from your side.
Morning. Good to connect as well. Things are running steadily here, but as always, lots to balance with growth and keeping the lights on. I'm looking forward to hearing more about what you've got in mind. Where do you think we should start?
Well, I wanted to talk about the efficiency of your current server setup and server stack. I've heard from a few folks at your organization that it's lacking a little bit in both environmental protection as well as just overall efficiency. Is that the case?
That's a fair observation. Our current stack has been reliable, but it isn't exactly cutting edge when you look at power usage or sustainability. We get good uptime, but our efficiency per watt is not where I'd like it to be. We're also seeing capacity get tight faster these days, so both energy and scalability are definitely on my radar.
But that would obviously continue on. Right away, it will transcribe that and then provide me the audio. When I do submit that take, it will go both to my manager, my coach, whoever's set as a reviewer for the activity, and it will also go to what we call our AI virtual coach. So the virtual coach will provide feedback based on the objectives and the scoring, and I will get that directly, and then my manager can choose whether they want to review it individually or not. So there you can see right away the virtual coach. I set it for pretty light because I didn't get to much, but it will talk about the different pieces. So rapport building and credibility, I did that right up front. Right away, I talked about a specific area of concern. I didn't really get to the rest of the things, but I did communicate clearly. So it will grade me out based on my feedback and based on our scoring criteria. And my manager could be the next one to take a look at that and also provide their feedback. So I want to stop there. I'm going to stop my share, and I do want to, if we have some specific Q&A, we get 2 minutes here to do that.
Yeah.
I can answer them directly, or I can, Liz, I can also just let them know I can take any questions offline as we get them through the system.
We do have a few people wanting that, so you will have a full inbox for that as well. But yeah, Christopher asked a question in the Q&A specifically. How confident are you that the language translate will return what you wanted? Have they been validated specifically?
Yes, so already we've validated quite a bit, and sometimes it is nuanced. Our return rates have been 99.8% accurate. Sometimes it is nuanced. We do have different versions of things like Portuguese. So we have Brazilian Portuguese versus European Portuguese. That makes a huge difference, as you can probably imagine, as does French Canadian versus Canadian. So we have those settings in the system right now. When you look at a company like Chile, we tried Mexican Spanish, we tried regular Spanish, but it actually worked best with Southern Southern European Spanish or something. So we can tweak the model to make it so it fits best with the dialect, because it's not only just the words being right, it's sort of the way it responds and the way it talks. So yeah, there is some tweaking sometimes, but the model works really well.
Yes, and we had a few people validate it also in the comment that the Spanish you showed was also amazing. And then specifically about that German accent, they said it was very strong. Which other options are there for virtual voices? So a little bit more.
Oh, yeah. So that German accent, that was my voice, and I don't have a German accent, so that's not a best practice. I just wanted to demonstrate that it can make me speak German if I want. So that the big point there is just if I had selected a German voice that we had preloaded that would have the German dialect, it would have sounded much smoother. That was just my voice, which is an English dialect, English accent, speaking German.
Perfect. Well, that is all the time we have left. You will have a bunch of questions afterwards and a couple more demos to do, as they really loved your product. But I wanted to ask, is there anything else you would want to leave with the audience today before we show them how to get to the next session?
No, just thank you all for your time. Absolute pleasure. Stay on track with AI. You saw how much it can simplify creating, training content, helping with coaching and improvement. There's a lot more that our system offers, so love to chat with everybody. I know Nadine, who's from my team, is on taking notes as well. So we'll get to any questions that you may have. We'll take a list of those. And if you do give us your contact information, we'll be certain to reach out very soon. But do appreciate the time and attention. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Justin. No,
Thank
you were right. It was super
Liz,
quick.
keep
I
this
was shocked. So thank you. For everyone else, though, I do want to just guide you. We will be taking that 15-minute break. And up next, we do have David and Corey from Skooks for their session, Driving Business Impact Through AI-Powered Upskill. So again, in a moment, I will be ending this session. You can join our next session by returning to the event lobby and going to the session tab. I hope you all stick around for our next session, which will begin shortly. I'll see you all soon. Bye, everybody.